I want to thank Interfab for hosting us here today. We're very appreciative of their hospitality. Thank you. We have a diverse array of Ohio's natural gas and oil sector here represented in the room, from all sectors, from all parts of the state. We're really fortunate in Ohio that there's not a corner in our great state that isn't impacted by the natural gas and oil economy. And of course, we're very fortunate to have two special guests with us today who understand natural gas and oil production and its importance to our state and our nation. First, I'd like to welcome our governor, Mike DeWine. Throughout his career in public service, he has been a supporter of Ohio's oil and gas industry and a common sense proponent of making more energy here in the Buckeye State. Governor, thanks for joining us here today, and I welcome you to deliver some opening remarks.
Yeah, George, thank you very much. Thanks for everyone being here. We've got a great panel, and we're just, Mr. Vice President, thank you for being here. You know, oil and gas industry is so vitally important in the state of Ohio. If you go back the last 10 years and look at what the investment has been, it's been close to $100 billion. And that's just huge. We talk about what we hope Intel investment's going to be, and that's big too. And we talk about $100 million or $100 billion for that. So this has been really huge. You know, we really have a great asset in the natural gas. We've seen, if you look at Ohio and West Virginia, Pennsylvania, that was the 3 states were a country. We would be third in the production of natural gas in the whole world, right behind the United States and Russia. So it's massive. We like to think Mr. Vice President gives us a competitive advantage in regard to attracting industry here. And this industry is going to continue to play a huge role. So I think it's appropriate that we're talking about the whole energy issue. Our position in Ohio as far as energy is we're for everything, and we want to continue to grow. I want to, on a kind of a personal note, that the Vice President is in Ohio and I'm here. I want to publicly thank the Vice President for the work he did during the pandemic. Vice President Pence was the governor's lead person. He was our lead person. We were on the phone with him virtually every week, sometimes more than once as a group, and then sometimes just one-on-one conversations that you and I had. I think you told me you did 49 of those, 48, 49 of those. And if you could have listened into it, what you would have heard is Democrat and Republican governors trying to solve problems, and the Vice President trying to help them solve the problem. And that's really what it was. And the follow-up, follow-up is always the most important thing, and the Vice President's follow-up was always stellar. The White House did everything they could to help us. The Vice President did everything he could and really led that working group. So I want to thank you for that. It made a difference in Ohio, for Ohio citizens.
Well, thank you, Governor, and it's really my great honor to welcome Vice President Pence back to Ohio. Of course, he's a great next-door neighbor from the Hoosier State, but he's no stranger to our great state, and honestly, he's a friend of Ohio natural gas and oil. I know many of us will remember his remarks in 2019 at the Oil and Gas Association's annual meeting. What's amazing really is how quickly things have changed in just a couple short years. We went from being energy independent as a nation to really now facing unnecessary energy challenges. Sir, what's clear is leadership matters, and we're thankful for your continued leadership on these important energy issues. I'll just share a personal note. Prior to my time coming to this organization, I was fortunate enough to spend some time working in the Vice President's Office of Advance as an associate, and I will forever be appreciative of the opportunity to have been part of your administration, sir. Let's all give a warm Ohio welcome to Mike Pence.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you, George, for the hospitality. I want to thank Interfab for opening up this spectacular facility and for the warm welcome that your team has given us today for this important conversation about American energy. It is extraordinary to think how far we have fallen in such a short period of time. Under the Trump-Pence administration, we unleashed American energy. We became a net exporter of energy for the first time in 75 years. But because of the policies of this administration since day one, Americans are now experiencing inflation at a 40-year high. Gasoline prices have skyrocketed, now averaging over $5 a gallon. 75% increase in gasoline prices at the pump. You know, one of the advantages of no longer being vice president, Mr. Governor, is you get to drive your own car. One of the disadvantages is you get to pay for your own gas. So I literally have been at the pump, at the gas station just around the corner from my house, north of Indianapolis. And I have to tell you, my wife said to me today, she said, "You didn't even fill up your car the whole way." I drive a Ford Edge. She said, "You didn't even fill up the whole way. It was $80. And you know, the truth is, it's no laughing matter because it's impacting families. It's causing great hardship on the American people. So I want to thank all the industry leaders that are here today to talk about how we steer Ohio and how we steer America back to energy independence. And it's a particular privilege for me to be with really one of the great champions of American energy, a man that I have known throughout his storied political career, and a man that I have every confidence will have 4 more years of leadership. Join me in thanking Governor Mike DeWine one more time for his extraordinary leadership of Ohio. You know, it's extraordinary to think just the last few days, President Biden referred to Putin's gasoline price hike. You know, the Biden administration wants to blame rising gasoline prices on Putin's war in Ukraine. The truth is, gasoline prices had risen more than 50% before the first shot was fired in Ukraine. And gasoline prices are rising for working families here in Ohio and across America. Not because of the war in Ukraine. Gasoline prices are rising because of Joe Biden's war on energy. And we must bring the war on energy to an end, and we must unleash American energy here in Ohio and all across the nation. And if you doubt that there's a war on energy, let me just recap it for you. From the first days of this administration, following a campaign where Joe Biden pledged to, quote, end fossil fuels, close quote. On day one, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. He imposed a drilling moratorium on public lands. He refused to auction oil and gas leases on those same lands. He shut off the Alaska National Wildlife Region that our administration managed to open up for responsible exploration for the American people. He re-entered the Paris Climate Accords. All the while, before the war in Ukraine broke out, Governor, he actually approved a pipeline between Russia and Europe, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that we had shut down, all the while putting more pressure on American energy producers. And what's truly remarkable is after doing everything to shut down energy production in this country, yesterday President Joe Biden sent a letter to major oil producers in this country telling them to produce more oil. In fact, his press secretary said it was the oil company's patriotic duty to produce more oil. Well, I would say, President Joe Biden, it is your patriotic duty to unleash American energy and put our nation back on a pathway toward energy independence. And the truth is, we know how to do it. I look forward to hearing from the leaders in industry here in Ohio about how we turn loose the energy industry in this great state and in this great country, Governor. Because energy drives the American economy. You know, I like to say out here in the Midwest, we do 2 things well. We make things and we grow things, right? And energy drives growth and jobs and opportunities in the city and on the farm. We all know that. And so this is, in a very real sense, this goes way beyond the gasoline pump. It goes to manufacturing here in Ohio and in my home state of Indiana and all across this country. And the truth is our economy is struggling It is that inflation and it is the energy policies of this administration that are holding America back. But as I said, we know how to unleash American energy. We did it during the Trump-Pence administration. We withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord. We approved the Keystone and Dakota pipelines. We expedited the development of the Alaska National Wildlife Refuge, and we approved a massive expansion of LNG terminals, helping our country become one of the top LNG producers in the world. And with the natural gas resources here in Ohio, we ought to be redoubling our efforts to develop our capacity, not just to gather natural gas, but to export it to the world. With a powerful energy sector fueling economic growth, we saw more than 7 million good-paying jobs created in those first 3 years. Household income soared to a new record. Unemployment plummeted to the lowest rate in 50 years. 10 million people were lifted off of welfare. We made real progress. And as I said before, we became a net exporter of energy for the first time in 70 years. We became energy independent. And what I want to say to each and every one of you is that with the right leadership here in Ohio and the right leadership in Washington, D.C., we can do it all again. And I believe we will. So, Governor, I want to thank you again for your incredible leadership here in Ohio. I want to thank you for your kind words about the partnership that we forged during those early, difficult days of the coronavirus pandemic, for your compassionate and caring leadership of this state. But more than anything else, I want to thank you for simply being a champion for jobs here in Ohio, a champion for families here in Ohio, and being willing to bring together an industry to use the powerful voice of this great heartland state of Ohio to say that time has come to put America back on the path to energy independence. The time has come to unleash American energy. And it's my great honor to be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.